Simple interest applications. The first terminology that you need to know is promissory note. Promissory note is a written promise by one party to pay a certain sum of money to another party. So it could be for government, for business, or for individual. And it's basically a contract saying that one party owes another party money. And that's promissory note. So there's a bunch of terminology here. You can read that on your own time. The next terminology that you need to know is treasury bill or T-bill. And basically what treasury bills are is basically a promissory note issued by the government. And when you're buying T-bill from the government, that means you're lending money to the government. And when you're selling T-bill, that means you're borrowing money. So when you sell T-bill, that means you're writing a contract, you're selling the contract to the person, and the person will give you money. So that means you're borrowing money from people. And when the contract expires, the person will come back to you, and then you're going to give the money back to them. So basically, when you're buying T-bill, that means you got the paper, you got the T-bill, so you have to give them the money. You're lending them money. When you're selling something, when you're selling T-bill, that means you're borrowing money. Demand loans. Demand loan is basically when the lender may demand payments at any time, in full or in partial payments. That's demand loan. And then the next terminology is line of credit and credit cards. The main difference between line of credits and credit card is that line of credits, the interest rate are usually lower. They're usually about 3 to 8% for unsecured line of credits. And then for credit card, they have really high interest rate, 20% interest rate for most credit cards. And the second difference between them is that credit card, usually you get a grace period. Usually you have a 21 days grace period. While for line of credit, as soon as you use the line of credit, they charge you interest right away. While for credit card, they don't charge you the interest right away. You have a 21-day grace period before they will start charging you. So no grace period for line of credit. As soon as you use it, you get charged the interest. Another difference between the line of credit and credit card is that line of credit, there's no reward. For most credit card, they have cash reward, they have travel rewards, which you can earn when you're spending money from your credit cards. And that's the difference between the line of credit and the credit cards. So example 1, on April 1st, $25,000 364 T-bill were auctioned off to yield 2.07%. Part A, what is the price of each 25,000 T-bill on April 1st? So in part A, what we're solving for is the price, that's the present value, how much it's worth today. And the first number that we see in the question is 25,000, that's your future value. So that's how much we get back at the end of the contract. At the end of the 364 days, when the contract expires, the borrower will promise to pay the lender the $25,000. So that's your future value. S is your future value. So 25,000 is your future value. And then T is 364 days. And then the next number is 2.07%. That's your R, that's your interest rate. And we're going to use the same formula. S equals to P times 1 plus RT. And we're going to solve for P. We're going to solve for the price today. So we substitute 25,000 into the S. R is 2.07%, so it's 0.0207. And then for T, our T is 364 divided by 365. So we can calculate the bracket first. So when we calculate the bracket, we're going to get 1.020643,288. Once we calculate what is in the bracket, then we divide both sides by the 1.02, and you're going to get a price equals to 244.9436. Part B, what is the yield rate on July 20th if the market price is 24,592.52? So if we look at the timeline here, what we have is that on April 1st, that's when we bought the T-bill. And what we know is that on July 20th, the price of the T-bill is 24,592 at the end of 364 days. What we have is the S, the maturity value, equals to $25,000. And the concept that you need to know here is that to find out the value of a T-bill, what we need to first find out is the number of days remaining. So the days remaining is from July 20th to when it matures at the end of 364 days. So the value is always based on the days remaining. It's not based on the number of days past. It's always based on the number of days remaining. But in order to find out the number of days remaining, what we need to do first is we need to first find out the number of days that has passed, and then we can subtract it. So what we're going to do is first find out the number of days between April 1st to July 20th. So that's how many days have passed by. We're going to use the second function, date, that we learned from previous chapter. So second function, date, and then we're going to put April 1st, so 04.01. And then we're assuming we're using the current year of 2020. So we put the 20, and then we press enter. And then the financial calculator will show April 1st, 2020. So that's the beginning date. And then our second date is DT2. So we go down to DT2, and then we're going to put the second date, which is July 20th. So 07.20, July 20th. And then we're assuming it's 2020. So put 20, and then we press enter, and that will set the date DT2 to July 20th, 2020. And then we're going to go down, and then we're going to press compute to calculate the days between. We press compute, and then it'll give you the 110 days. So between April 1st to July 20th, there's the 110 days. Once we find out the number of days between April 1st and July 20th is 110 days, then we can subtract it from 364. So 364 minus 110, that will give you the 255. So that's the number of days remaining. So the number of days remaining from July 20th to the end when it matures is 254 days. And that's the number of days that we're going to use to calculate the value of the contract. So the contract is always based on the number of days remaining. Okay, so from July 20th to when it matures. And we're going to use the same formula, S equals to P times 1 plus RT. S is 25,000. So at the end of the contract is 25,000. That's the maturity value. And then P is the 24,592. That's the present value or the market price. That's how much the T-bill is worth today, is 24,592. And then RT is the number of days remaining, so 254 divided by 365. And the last variable is the R. R is what we're solving for. So we can rearrange the algebra. You can do that on your own, and then you can solve for R, and you're going to get R equals to about 2.38%, and that's example 1.